What's going on, guys? Cody from Southeast Softwash. Today is April the 30th, 2024, and it's a pretty exciting week for us. We are beginning to fulfill and ship out the door the very first batch of super pumps, and that's what we've got here on the table today. This is going to be a long form video. We're going to talk about what is the super pump, how do you set it up, how do you get it running, and this is going to be good information for you guys that had these on pre-order because they are headed out the door, as well as everybody in the future that's going to be getting a super pump. So if you're watching this video, you probably found it on YouTube or our website. This is going to be a long video, okay? So we're going to break it up in some sections: electrical, plumbing, just some general facts about the super pump and what you can expect out of it. All right, so let's get into it real quick. I've got some notes here, so I hopefully don't forget anything and we don't have any further technical difficulties. I don't have another coughing fit that I have to fight through. Super pump, what is it? It is a 24-volt powered Softwash beast, and it's 16 gallons a minute at about 150 or so PSI. Now, all those numbers can change. Those 16 gallons a minute, what does that mean? That is open flow on the pump, which is how you rate pumps. So any pump you guys are familiar with, if you've ran 12-volt systems, air diaphragm systems, booster pumps, gas-powered systems, doesn't matter. If it is a pump, the way the engineers rate these things is at open flow. At 0 PSI, what does that pump produce? And what we have here is 16 gallons a minute, or roughly a little bit more than 8 gallons a minute per side combined into one pump. So custom motor, we had to spec this motor out from scratch. This project took a really long time because nothing here is really off the shelf. It's all kind of proprietary and new, and it's really been improved a lot. So this motor is rated for a whole bunch of runtime and a lot of heat and abuse. It can take a lot of wear and tear. Really robust, powerful, 24-volt supplied motor. Talk about the PSI. We're rating these, the little writing here on the top of the box and the packaging is going to say 150. You can get a little more than that, around 175. Now, I will tell you guys, in testing, we torture tested one and got it up to about 260 PSI on the gauge. We actually maxed out the gauge, but that is not normal operating PSI for a Softwash pumping system like this. So you can tweak the PSI. You got a little bit of adjustment here on the pressure switch, but don't really run it past. A lot of us, we have the tendency to just want to max that thing out. You can do that if you want to, but you're probably going to put a lot of excessive wear and tear on the pump ahead of time. Now 150, 165 PSI, that's actually quite a good bit. Remember, we are soft washing, but we do want some pressure both for rinsing and to reach some taller application peaks and taller structures. This pump, if set up correctly, will do 4 to 5 stories, and we've done that on camera in some other videos. So very powerful, robust pumping system. Just a few other basic things about the pump. The mounting base here, that the pump is this bracket here that you can see on the bottom, and it goes all the way around the backside. That is a stainless steel mounting footprint. That entire cradle bracket is stainless steel, so we want to make sure that it was stainless. That's really important in the soft washing world and even some other industries that this pump's probably going to land in. That is a cool feature. So, quick attach footprint. Now, working off of that base, you guys see we've got some rubber mounting feet here on the bottom. The way we like to mount it, if you just got your pump out of the box, we like to take some True Blue or some pipe dope, something that's going to make a color, and we'll lay the pump on its back. We've done this for years with the other brands, and we'll mark us a little mark on the bottom of that rubber foot, all 4 of those, and then we're going to set it down where we think we want to mount it at and make 4 little marks, and then we'll take us a drill bit and drill those holes out and then run studs, permanent bolts, up through the bottom of wherever we're mounting it, trailer, skid, a shelf, whatever you're putting it on, and go ahead and run you a nut and lock those studs down. So now you've got a permanently mounted attachment point, and then we just set the pump directly over those bolts. We don't put any wing nuts or hardware on the top. That way it's still quick and easy to take on and off in the field. The pump's got a little bit of weight to it, plus your plumbing is going to hold it in place just fine. You don't feel like you've got to really like mount this thing down. It'll be just fine like that. You can do it the other way. You can run bolts and nuts and all that if you want to, or if you're putting this on a trailer, you could just run some wood screws and a washer right there, and that would be just fine as well. So rubber feet on the bottom to isolate vibration, quick mount method, that's what we like to do. I already told you guys about the stainless base plate. So really robust system here. It's nice. Moving on to the plumbing. So second thing we're going to talk about is the plumbing. Now the super pump is fed. This is what you're going to get in the box. You're going to get some banjo T fittings, and they're different. This one is a 1-inch by 2 3/4 fittings here, and the other one is 3/4 all the way around these T-fittings. Now you're going to need to make your own little plumbing piece here. We were going to do that for you guys, but I decided not to do that. It's really nothing. This is what you need, about 80 cents worth of 3/4 inch hose, and you're going to have to plumb it up to your system anyway. So I'm going to assume that if you're buying this and getting into this industry, or really any kind of business, you should be able to do this. Okay, so we may supply this plumbing in the future, but especially on these pre-orders, you guys can handle this. All right, not a big deal. The 1 inch is going to go to your supply. So if you're running a blendable system, that'll go to your manifold. If you're batch mixing, that's going to go straight to your holding tank. The 2 3/4 off of that, you'll cut your hose and attach your provided. We're going to send you 4 of these barbs. That's what we've made here for the super pump. These are custom barbs. You're going to attach all that stuff together and plumb up your inlet side, which is the bottom 2 inlets here on the pump. That is and it's got arrows. You can't screw it up. So the bottom is your inlet. The top 2 ports are your outgoing discharge side. So you're going to basically make 2 little plumbing pieces here. And the cool thing about this method is you'll lock these down, right? This will go in here like this, and they're pretty tight. We want them to be tight. The barbs are actually custom barbs. So it'll look something like that with this piece in the middle. Actually, it'd be this piece in the middle, and then another section on this side going into this side with the other barb. But the cool thing is you can lock these down on your pump barbs, and then you can rotate this discharge to set it up where you need the plumbing to be, and the same thing with the inlet on the bottom. You can rotate that, get it where you want it, and then lock these hose clamps down. So that's a little trick to clean up your plumbing. Sometimes, depending on your rig, you may want to rotate that down and shoot the plumbing straight through the floor of a shelf or a trailer and clean some of that spaghetti plumbing up. Let's talk back about the barbs for just a second. Like I said, we're going to provide you these, and these are custom to the super pump. They will be available on the website as spares, not expensive, really cheap. But these are custom because we wanted to make sure we've got plenty of engagement into this housing. This pump is pretty powerful, and I don't like leaks on my stuff. So the cool part about this is you'll notice it's got 2 O-ring seals, not just one, but we went ahead and lengthened that barb out and gave it 2 O-rings to prevent air leaks on the suction side and discharge leaks on the outbound side of liquid leaks. So that is pretty cool. And they've got O-rings on there as well, and it's just a quick slide tab, which means the pump is quick to attach and detach. So you'll need some 1 inch plumbing going to your manifold or your tank, some hose clamps, and some 3/4 inch plumbing for the actual pump itself. Nothing to it. Custom barbs, quick attach. I think we've covered all of that. Let's talk about the electrical supply side over here. Now you'll notice we've got 2 different models here. They look almost identical. This one has the knob on top. This is the speed control version. We have not, as of today, even put these on the website available to purchase. Nobody has ordered a speed control, but they will be added to the site. So there'll be 2 variations of pump. A little bit of a price difference because the electronics in these 2 boxes are quite different. They're very, very different. The pump is the same. This one gives you the ability to adjust down to around 5 gallons a minute all the way up to 16 gallons a minute, depending on what you're doing. So that's a cool feature, and that will be available on the website. Now, I've had a lot of guys say, hey, are you going to be able to buy this one, the analog on-off version, and then later purchase the speed control box? I don't know if we're going to do that yet. So as of the day of this video, I'm not sure. Part of me wants to sell it that way, but I know a lot of dudes are going to screw that up. It is not really something that we're sure we can do that. So if you've bought one of these and you're hoping to upgrade it to the speed control version, we just don't know yet if that's going to be something we can effectively get out the door and not have 90% failure rates because guys wouldn't know how to set them up out in the field. So still debating on that, but analog version, on and off, works just great. Speed control version gives you that variability. And in the future, the speed controller will be remote control as well. We're working on that so that you don't have to walk back to the truck to adjust this knob. On the electrical side, it is a 24-volt DC powered system, right? So the reason we did that is 24 volts is pretty easy to make. Out in the field, there's about 5 or 6 ways you can do it, depending on how deep your wallet is and how much money you want to throw at it. But I will tell you to keep in mind, some of these battery options can be pretty pricey with the lithiums, but you have to remember this is a one-time purchase. and that battery is going to last you about a decade. So yeah, it's a $1,000 battery, but think about how much gasoline you would have bought for a gas powered system to get this same level of performance. You know, 8, 10, 12 bucks a day. That adds up pretty quickly. If you're doing the math, this pump saves you about $2,000 a year in fuel if you're running a gas powered system like an AR45, AR60, or any of the gas powered systems. So that means the pump pretty much pays for itself annually in fuel savings, which is really cool. It costs about 80 cents a day to run a super pump on average for the average guy, average kilowatt hours used, average cost per kilowatt hour across the United States. That's what the math says. So less than $1 a day in electricity versus 10 or 12 bucks a day for a gas powered system. So 24 volts is easy. It's nothing crazy to do. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. You can get 2 deep cycle marine grade batteries, wire them up in series. We're not going to cover that in this video. There's other videos on YouTube. You need to go watch one to figure out how to do it. It's really simple. You're just going to connect these batteries in series and make 24 volts, and then you can come off of that bank of 24 volts to power your pump. That is the cheapest, effective way to do it. It'll work just fine. If you're going to go that route, make sure you get deep cycle marine grade batteries. They're designed to deplete and recharge, deplete and recharge. Don't get a standard battery for your car. Those are made to start, and that's all they do. Start a starter, and then they're done. So that's an option. If you want to go up from there, you can go to a single bank lithium. You could actually go to lithium 12 volts and still wire those together. I don't know why you would do that. It's better to just get a lithium single bank if they're in stock and you can get one, and they usually are. This is a Epic battery, EPOCH, good brand. Dakota Lithium, we like those as well. There's another company called Big Battery, that's their name, and they're really, really nice as well. And they've got batteries that are twice this size, 200 amp hour. You don't need that, but it's nice. So if you get the big lithium, you can basically run for days and not have to worry about it. One of the advantages to lithium is it discharges really flat and then it's just dead. It doesn't get weaker throughout the day. If you do it this way, you probably got around 3 to 4 hours of good solid runtime, which is probably plenty for most dudes, really. Going to the lithium, a single bank 100 amp hour, you're going to get about 5 to 6 hours of constant runtime here, which is a lot. When we say 5 to 6 hours, you're thinking, well, I work a 10-hour day. Yeah, but you're not spraying 8 hours, right? So this is plenty for most guys. This is more than plenty for just about everybody. If you want to go up from there and never have to worry about it, get you a 200 amp hour bank. And again, you're spending a little bit up front, but these batteries last you for literally a decade. So it's a really good spend in the long run if you're doing the math there. I like these. They're lighter, smaller footprint. The Epics, you can connect them to your phone and read your readout. So battery voltage supply. Another thing you can do, and this is not a bad idea, is have a inverter installed on your truck. You can do it yourself, have somebody do it for you, and basically your truck have a port installed on the back of your truck somewhere, and you can plug into your truck, and if you got that, you pretty much, as long as you got fuel in the truck, you're operational for your equipment. So that is another option as well. I think the new Fords, 2023 and newer, they have a big 4,000, or I think they've got a 7,000 kilowatt hour inverter on the trucks. Now these are made for construction guys to run a saw off of, and it will definitely have enough amps to cut a charger on and resupply your battery bank, which that would be kind of the ultimate way to do it. Battery technology is really good, and guys, I suggest you invest in a good battery and just don't worry about it for the next 10 years. It's a good way to spend a little bit of money. So 24 volts. Now getting into the wiring, you are going to need a circuit breaker, and I'll go ahead and say a lot of these parts are going to be available on the Southeast Softwash website. If they're not, at the time of this video, we're going to be adding them in the near future. Things like a circuit breaker that you're going to need. You can get these on Amazon as well. This one is not the right size, but it'll look like this. It's a 50 amp breaker that you're looking for. This one's a 20 amp, so we just had one in the drawer down there, but you need some type of circuit protection for this pump. Certain pumps out there come with a fuse. I don't like that. There's a lot of pump companies that don't provide you anything, which is what we've chose to do, because you can install a one and done circuit breaker, which is better for you out in the field anyway. So make sure you have a circuit protection in your wiring. All right. You will also need a switch. There's a bunch of options. Again, a lot of this stuff is currently on the website, or we'll be adding more to the site, so you can get it all there or go to Amazon. All right. This is a really nice heavy duty switch. This one is really good as well. I think these are rated for 100 amps. So just make sure you get one that's at least a 50 amp switch, Very simple to install, guys. Nothing to it. Very easy. You're going to need a wiring harness. Now, we sell these. These have been on the site for years. 10 gauge wiring or better. Okay, so at least 10 gauge. Don't go 12 gauge wiring on this pump. It's not going to be a good day. So 10 gauge wiring is what we want to use. We've got these available on the site. Now, I debated back and forth between a SAE 2-pin connector, which is what we've got here, and these are very, very popular. Lots of guys' rigs have those, or a Anderson style plug. Now, in the future, once we get through these pre-orders and probably next year, early next, maybe late this year, we're probably going to start shipping the super pumps with a Anderson connector. It's just a better connection. I like the Anderson stuff because it clicks together and you get that real positive clicky. So if you're setting it up on an Anderson, if we ship it to you with an Anderson versus a 2-pin, you know, sometime in the future, if what we ship out changes, it's not a big deal. It is super simple to cut that off and install what you need for your equipment. So 2 ways you can do it. You can change out your port on your equipment to an Anderson or a SAE 2-pin like that, or you can change it on the pump. A lot of times it's easier to change it on the pump. Now look, if you do that, don't call me and say, hey, I can't figure this out. You got to be a grown damn man at some point, okay? Don't bother us. But it's very simple to do. Butt splice it on, put some heat shrink on it. Look, read a book. I don't know what to tell you. Anderson connectors are really nice. 2 pins work as well. Just make sure you use 10 gauge wiring and do it correctly. And if you're not sure, get somebody that can help you do it. But look, you're going to have to turn in your man card if you can't figure this plumbing out or this very basic electrical out. If you can't figure this out, you shouldn't have bought a super pump because you're getting into an industry where it requires you to figure things out. Okay, so that's covering that. I think that's pretty much everything. Yes, I think so. All right, so we will be offering rebuildable head kits for the super pump in the future, very, very soon in the future. So one of the big questions we get is, once we talk about the performance, the next question the guy says, well, how long is that pump gonna last? Great question. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. We are not gonna warranty this pump, and here's why. I've got a screenshot album in my phone of guys, actually a YouTube guy just the other day posted a video. It's got about 3,000 views, telling guys how to sort of scam, and he didn't use this word, but that's what they're doing. I tell you what you do, just get that extended warranty, and you keep basically buy one pump and run their company off of that warranty for the life of their company. And that's, listen, if you think that way, that's unethical. Please don't buy a pump from us, because we're going to tell you to go pound sand. We all know, and you guys know, and even in the comments, they were saying, some of the guys were like, I just don't know if I feel right about doing that, because the warranty, the thing is, they're taking it to a big box store and the clerk doesn't know any better. But the pump companies, guys have no problem screwing a pump company. So it's a really weird situation. Once you have a logo in a building, a lot of guys out there running equipment or washing every day, they think, they got plenty of money. I'll just buy one pump and figure out a way to get free pumps for life. Well, we ain't playing that shit here. So don't even try that. These are not warranted. I wish I could warranty them, because I know the pump's really, really solid. But I can't, because I know how guys are. They're usually in a tough situation, and that forces them to kind of try to screw everybody and not do things really the right way. So unfortunately, we can't warranty them, because I know what people would do. Having said that, as long as you take care of your pump, this thing should last you easily a year. I would suspect you can probably get 2 good complete wash seasons out of this entire pump, provided that you do a rebuild whenever you need to. So we're going to sell you the rebuild kits. It will come with both sides. You can't buy one at a time. I'm going to send you both of them. Quit being poor. Replace both sides. So if you get a leak one day, the motor's still good, right? The pump itself is still good. The motor and the electronics, all that. You just got a problem on your actual pump heads. Well, we're going to sell you a rebuild kit. It'll be on the site. I don't know how much yet. Go check. If they're on there, you'll know. So easy to do. Take your screws out, replace the thing. It's like a 5-minute job. Super simple. And you know what? You got a brand new pump again. You're back up and running. So that is a good benefit. We wanted to offer that to guys out there. And so, you know, keep you an impact with a Torx driver and a rebuild kit on the truck. And if you ever do have a catastrophic leak that's beyond fixable, you can just swap out the heads and you're back good to go. So I know guys are rough on things. Here's the things that will kill this pump. Not flushing it out, gonna kill your pump. That is a no-no for any pump out there. not providing it with the proper voltage, you forget to charge your system, you're asking too much of it, and you're not diligent about recharging, or you're too cheap to get a good battery supply, you're trying to do it the cheap route. Those are all you problems. So make sure you're giving it the correct voltage. Corrosion on your electrical components, poor connections on your electrical components can starve it for power, which causes amp draw to go up, and it creates wear and tear on the motor. Using the wrong hose size. This needs to run on 3/4 discharge. All of this from the outbound sides of this pump, here and here, through this piece of hose and your T to your hose reel, the guts of your hose reel, the internal manifold in your hose reel, the discharge hose itself, all of that needs to be 3/4. Now, we sell 3/4 inch hose reels. A lot of you guys are going to have a 1/2 inch internal hose reel. I'm going to tell you, that's not a great idea. So you do you, boo, but don't call up here, yank. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go click and hang up. We're not going to entertain it, not going to do it. I would literally rather step on a landmine than talk to guys about pumps for the rest of my life. Not going to do it. So make sure you set it up on the right size hose. You can't go 5/8 or 1/2 inch. You're going to kill this pump, and that's going to be a problem for you, not us. So make sure you put it on the right size hose. Nozzles are also important. Now, the red gun, I don't know what it's called. We all call it the red gun. It's made by General Pump. They have a blue one as well. They're pretty much the same gun. They're just different on the inside. Those are just fine to run on these, and that's a real popular gun. Lots of guys have those. If you got one of those, you're good to go. It'll run this pump just fine. Water Boss makes a couple of guns, and those will run these just fine as well. If you're using a traditional J-rod type tip system, a Softwash wand, just make sure that you pick a tip that's going to support this, both your fan and your pencil string tip. That is a big thing that kills pumps, is guys trying to put the wrong size nozzle in there and, you know, get a little more pressure by putting a tiny nozzle. Well, okay, but that's going to put back pressure on the pump, which causes the pump to work really hard, and it can kill it. So make sure you run the pump correctly, flush it out, take care of it, treat it like your first date. Don't rape it, you know, take care of it, guys. This is pretty robust. Other than that, that's about it, guys. We're going to be shipping these things out this week, more coming out next week, in the few weeks following. We should get all these. These are just, I put them in here because they look cool in the cabinets for the video, but they're going to go right out the door. And you guys that have them on pre-order, they are inbound, coming to you real soon. Parts will be on the website very soon. Spare barbs, some of these electrical components that you're going to need. Again, you can get them on Amazon as well. And head kits very soon as well. And over the course of the summer, we're going to be in full production mode on these. So like I said, as of right now, you can't even go buy a super pump. If you watch this video in the future, they'll probably be on the site by the time you get around to watching this in a few weeks. So they'll be full bore, rolling out the door. Really excited about it. Also the Super 8 and some other models that we're working on, different versions, different models of both of those pumps are in the future. So stay tuned for those updates. Guys, grab you a super pump when they're available. Get you one. If you got them on pre-order, be looking in the mail. They're on the way. And we'll see you guys in the next video.